Greetings and welcome to Learning Mindsets. My name is Tim DeLora, Executive Director. I want to thank you for your interest in growing your impact as an educational leader. At Learning Mindsets, we're operationalizing the research findings in the areas of organizational learning and systems leadership to create for educational leaders an understanding of how organizations improve, that our leadership can flow from an understanding of how our leadership can bring about a deeper implementation of best practice in our communities of practice. My first experience in leading mindset was as a principal when we had begun an initiative in instructional practice that was changing how teachers taught. And it was, after 2 months, a source of frustration for many. And a teacher came into my office clearly frustrated and eventually with tears explaining to me how this initiative was making it so difficult for her and her students. At that point, as a leader, I needed to make a choice. And what I did was articulate for her, and even for myself, the thought foundations at the center of that initiative that gave us reason to know that it was going to make a difference for students. She left knowing that I understood, and it helped me to be able to go forward as well, to have been able to name those key principles at the heart of that initiative, and which I was able to articulate for all of those in our community. And sure enough, in April she returned to me, this time with tears of joy, as she related to me that this had been her most successful and rewarding school year that she had ever taught. As we continue to apply these two concepts of the mindset model in the context of dialogue, of transformation of mindset, we're looking at here finally the developmental sequence, the scaffolded development of transformation of mindset that the three contexts of mindset are providing us. That is the engagement of mindset in inquiry, the information of mindset in quality, and then the unification of mindset in coherence. As we go forward now, in this last segment, we're looking at being able to tackle more concretely the concept of the mindset model. And in order to do that, within the context of our educational setting, we're needing to notice that there are certainly three domains of leadership within the overall educational setting. Certainly at the heart of it is the teacher's leadership of the classroom and the educational practice that takes place there. That classroom in turn is situated in a school-wide educational community led by the principal. And in turn, the school-wide community exists within a district-wide educational environment that's led by the superintendent. To do that, I'd like to point out an admonition that comes from the book Influencer, The Power to Change Anything. And that is, discover the few vital behaviors, change those, and problems topple like a house of cards. Here we're looking at and talking about the mindset model, the key principles of thought that form the foundation of practice at each of these three levels of leadership responsibility. We apply these first to the district, leading district transformation by the transformation of district leaders to a district mindset. At the foundation of this mindset, we adopt an admonition from organizational learning that organizations improve when organizations learn. Professional learning becomes the fundamental driver of the district environment. The premise for this district mindset becomes, therefore, the foundation of improved student learning on the scale of an entire district is an entrepreneurial environment of professional learning. That premise is actualized in the principles of, first, a change strategy. What is our strategy for leading change in this environment of the entire district? That in turn clarifies to what is our purpose with this change? What is the discovery involved in the learning that actually equips us to accomplish that change? And then finally, what are the outcomes as we apply that learning and we analyze the results and compare it to the goals that we've set in defining a purpose. These 4 mindset principles in turn are actionalized by the process elements which we present in our Mindset Leadership Formation Video 2, Leading District. And at the foundation of the school community, we can state that relationships must have responsibilities just as individuals do. This is at the heart of a systems understanding of the complexity in a school. And when we translate that into a premise, we can say that the foundation of learning for all students is a school-wide collaborative instructional system of administrators, teachers, and staff. So here we're talking about a school overcoming the isolation that naturally evolves in the complexity as people struggle to manage and deal with that complexity, and integrating the responsibilities of special education, general education, intervention, support staff, leadership, and being able to bring in all of these contributors to student learning into an aligned and coordinated system of instruction that is the school community. The principles at the foundation of that system are first collaborative improvement. We begin there. As a profession, we're looking at defining our professionalism as being on the leading edge of expertise. So we begin with collaborative improvement. And we identify excellence. Our professional community is one where we can articulate what makes us effective, being able to understand the attitudes, the values, the motivators that make us a community of excellence. And at the heart of it all is exemplary instruction, which in turn is supported in an integrated way with systematic intervention. So here we have the 4 primary principles that define this entire setting, this entire community of the school in an integrated, collaborative instructional system. The process elements by which these 4 principles are actually lived out and actionalized are the subject of our Mindset Leadership Formation Video 3, Leading School. The classroom mindset. And here we base this mindset model on the premise that teaching is neither idiosyncratic or mysterious. It is a rational process. And so we're able to state, given the rational nature of learning and teaching, that the foundation of student learning success for every student is the exemplary, systemic, and consistent implementation of instructional best practice. If teaching is a rational process, we can define what exemplary is. If teaching is a rational process, it can become systemically implemented. If teaching is a rational process, then we can be consistent in its implementation. The principles behind that premise of instruction in turn is first, a classroom of care. Secondly, instructional rigor. And then finally, individualized instruction. Through these 3 characteristics, these 3 fundamental relationships or concepts of instruction, I can go into a classroom and quickly come to a clear grasp of the quality of that environment by asking 2 or 3 students 3 critical questions. Finally, the process elements for each of those 3 principles of instruction are presented in our Formation Video 4, Leading Classroom Learning. So with these 3 mindsets, we are able to create an understanding of our educational environment and the complexity that's inherent in it, with a new clarity where moving beyond a district-wide educational environment, we're able to more carefully state that that environment is one of professional learning. And we can implement the 3 contexts of dialogue with respect to a district mindset that captures the operational essence, the cognitive essence of professional learning. within that context of professional learning that would pervade the entire district environment. We have the school-wide community that more carefully, within this deeper understanding of the complexity of the school, beyond that of being a community, we understand it as a collaborative instructional system. And then finally, within that system, educational practice in the classroom is the exemplary, systemic, and consistent implementation of instructional best practice. Here, we have an integrated educational system. We have synthesized from the relationship that we know and observe are operative in our educational setting at the district, school, and classroom levels. We have integrated those into an ordered, scaffolded whole within which we can understand the complexity and be able to lead through it. We're able to, again, identify and lead the few vital behaviors that will in fact impact thinking, which impacts practice, which will drive our results into the 21st century. So I want to thank you for your engagement in the challenge of growing as an educational leader and being able to apply the findings of organizational learning and systems leadership in mindset leadership and being able to become a leader of mindset, driving a quality of practice that is exemplary, systemic, and consistent in our learning environments, and that thereby our 21st century students being able to achieve 21st century learning. Thank you for being an educational leader.